it ourselves. We hope you guys like it. John Green, the man, the myth, the legend.
Actually, John Green's the devil.
Okay, so we might have slightly different opinions regarding...
Very different opinions.
But I really think we need to recognize the genius.
The unoriginal, dull, poor writing style of...
the best author to grace this century. John Green's stories are about finding hope in a dark time, about discovering happiness even if the world seems to take it all away. Can we at least agree on that?
I wish I could, but reality will never be as simple as finding a few faults in our stars. We'll always be wasting our time looking for Alaska,
and we'll never truly find our way through these paper towns. But I always want to imagine that there's another happy ending, an alternative outcome to an otherwise sad story.
It doesn't matter how much you hope, John Green will never be able to rewrite the plotline for this story.
Chapter 1. This story begins on December 14, 2012. 20-year-old Adam Lanza takes it upon himself to shoot 20 children along with 6 faculty members at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Connecticut. Let's jump ahead to the moment in which Barack Obama gave a televised address explaining that we would
have to come together in order to take meaningful action to prevent tragedies like this, regardless of the politics.
And yet politics would be the thing in the way of gun control laws that could prevent tragedies like this one.
This was the largest shooting in either a high school or grade school.
And it was the 3rd largest mass shooting by a single person in all of U.S. history. Chapter 7.
In this next chapter, I am 7 years old. I am sitting in my cousin's backyard, debating between a red and a green ice pop. This is the biggest decision of my life. I am forced to choose between the sweet, syrupy taste of the red or the bittersweet taste of the green. These are the kind of problems that 7-year-olds should have. 7-year-olds should be singing Disney songs with their friends.
7-year-olds should be making decisions that feel like life and death, not having to learn the difference.
7-year-olds should be having play dates.
7-year-olds should not be spending their weekends at the funerals of friends. Of the 1,440 minutes in a day, it would take Adam Lanza only 11 to end the lives of 26 people, stripping thousands of children of their innocence. That night, there would be no discussion of recess at the dinner table. That night, there would be 26 empty seats at 26 different tables. That night, gun control would be the hot topic across American television.
It still is.
Chapter 17. And so we reach the climax of our story. It is January 18, 2015. Brock Turner assaults an intoxicated, unconscious woman. In that single moment, a switch was flipped, because all it took was one action to deeply alter that person for the rest of her life. And while this girl struggled to find comfort in her own skin, tried to comprehend how a man could abuse her body without even asking her for her name, excuses began to pile up. Excuses for why this was not the boy's fault. Excuses for why 20 minutes of action should not lead to life-altering time in prison. Excuses for why this was a consensual choice. And on September 2nd, 2016, a criminal is released after only 3 months of his already short 6-month sentence. This is the climax of our story, filled with horrific events and broken words, but over so soon that it becomes hard to comprehend the events that have occurred. And I just want to know why.
Was it because he was an athlete?
Was it because he went to Stanford?
Is it because misogyny is a pill best swallowed when you don't realize what it will do to you?
Is it because the very idea of adding a speck of white to a prison portrait consisting of shades of black would ruin the image of the great America? Pick your poison, because trust us, any answer you can come up with will be worse than the last. We know because we tried. And that's when I realized that maybe John Green can't rewrite the course of history. And for every hopeful story he writes, there will always be something lurking in the shadows to ruin it.
But just because John Green can't rewrite our story doesn't mean that we can't.
You know what? If we work hard enough, maybe we can change it. After all, what's the worst that could happen?
I think you're forgetting something.
What do you... Oh my god, there's one last chapter, isn't there?
Yeah.
Epilogue. Tuesday, November 8th,
2016.
Election Day. To be continued. Well, hopefully.